At 2:15 a.m., the house breathed. Not whined. Breath. Slow, wet, patient, as if the walls themselves had lungs and had finally noticed me standing outside the rusted gate. That was the moment I understood I shouldn't have come. That was also the moment the gate closed behind me on its own. The mystery of the abandoned house of horror. At exactly 2:15 a.m., my phone vibrated once and died. The screen went black, swallowing the last bit of light I had. The moon hung low, pale and swollen, illuminating the abandoned house at the end of Blackwood Lane, a place no one had lived in for 20 years and no one dared to approach after sunset. They called it Holloway House. People said it was empty. People lied. I had come because I'm a journalist, or at least I used to be, chasing one last story to revive a career ruined by disbelief and bad luck. 3 teenagers had vanished near this house in the past decade. No bodies, no suspects, just silence. The police wrote it off as runaways. The locals knew better. So did the house. As I stepped onto the cracked stone path, the air changed. It thickened, heavy with the smell of damp wood and something older, like rusted iron and burned paper. The front door stood slightly open, swaying, creaking in a rhythm too slow to be caused by the breeze. Behind me, the gate slammed shut. I spun around. Nothing. When I turned back, the door had stopped moving. Waiting. Inside, the temperature dropped instantly. My breath fogged as I crossed the threshold, and the door closed behind me with a final, deliberate click. The darkness inside wasn't natural. It swallowed the beam of my flashlight, bending it, warping it, as if the light itself was afraid. The hallway stretched longer than it should have. Family portraits lined the walls, faces blurred, eyes scratched out. One frame was empty, but the nameplate beneath it read, "For you." A floorboard creaked upstairs. Then another. Someone was walking. Hello. My voice sounded wrong, muted, distant, like it didn't belong to me anymore. The footsteps stopped. Then came the whisper. "You're late." It came from everywhere and nowhere at once. The walls trembled as if amused. I told myself it was a prank. A squatter. A trick of acoustics. Lies stack easily when the truth is unbearable. I followed the sound upstairs. The staircase groaned with every step, each one echoing far too long. At the top, the hallway split into 3 doors. The middle one was marked with claw-like scratches. From behind it came a faint sobbing. A woman's voice. "Please. I don't want to stay here." My hand hovered over the handle. The door burst open on its own. The room inside was a child's bedroom. Dusty toys, peeling wallpaper, a rocking horse moving gently despite the still air. In the corner stood a woman in a white dress, her back to me, hair hanging in tangled ropes. "Are you okay?" I asked. She turned. Her face was wrong. It was stretched, pulled too tight, like skin forced over something that didn't fit. Her mouth opened far wider than humanly possible, and when she spoke, dozens of voices came out. "We begged you not to come." The lights exploded. Darkness swallowed me whole. I woke up on the floor of the hallway. My watch still worked. 2:15 a.m. Impossible. I had been inside the house for at least half an hour. Unless time didn't move here. A loud thud shook the house. Something fell downstairs. then came dragging, slow, deliberate, across the floor. I smelled blood. I forced myself to move, every instinct screaming to run, but curiosity and dread pulled me forward like invisible hands. At the bottom of the stairs, I found the living room. The furniture was covered in white sheets. One of them moved. Beneath it, something shifted, rising and falling like a chest breathing. The sheet slid off, revealing a man nailed to the couch, hands, feet, chest, his eyes wide, mouth sewn shut with thick black thread. He was still alive, his eyes locked onto mine, begging. The thread in his mouth began to twitch, then unravel. As it fell away, his jaw unhinged and dropped to the floor with a wet crack. From his throat crawled a swarm of black insects, pouring out endlessly, forming words as they spilled across the carpet. "Leave or stay forever." Before I could react, the man's body collapsed into dust. The insects scattered, then vanished. Behind me, the front door creaked open. I ran. The door slammed shut before I reached it. The walls began to bleed. Dark streaks ran down the wallpaper, forming shapes, faces, hands, screaming mouths pressing outward as if trapped just beneath the surface. The house groaned, stretching, rearranging itself. I was no longer in the living room. I stood in a long corridor lined with doors, each one labeled with a date. Some were old, some were recent. One read, "Tonight." It was already open. Inside, I saw myself, sitting at a desk, writing notes, calm, unafraid. I stepped closer. The other me looked up and smiled. "You finally figured it out," he said. "What is this?" I whispered. He leaned back. "The house doesn't kill people. It keeps them." The room began to shake. "I was like you," he continued. "I came for answers, for truth. But the house feeds on curiosity, on guilt, on unresolved fear. Once it knows you, it never lets you leave." "No," I said, "I'm not like you." He laughed. "You already are." The walls peeled away, revealing memories that weren't mine, or were they? I saw the missing teenagers. I saw their fear. I saw them running through halls that never ended, screaming for help that never came. Then I saw myself again, standing over someone, holding a weapon, a memory I had buried. A hit and run years ago. A man on a dark road. My car speeding away. The police never found the driver. The house knew. "It needs confessions," the other me said. "It feeds on truth spoken too late." The floor cracked open beneath us. I fell. I landed in the basement. The smell was unbearable. Chains hung from the ceiling, each one holding a person, or what was left of them. Some were barely recognizable. Others still whispered, repeating the same phrase over and over. "It's 2:15. It's 2:15. It's 2:15. At the center of the room stood a mirror. I didn't want to look. I did anyway. My reflection was smiling. "You can leave," it said. "But someone must take your place." "No," I whispered. The reflection's smile widened. "You already chose." The chains began to fall. I ran again. Through rooms folding in on themselves. Through staircases leading nowhere. Through doors that screamed when touched. The house roared in anger. Beams cracking, walls closing in. I burst through the front door. And stumbled onto Blackwood Lane. The house stood silent behind me. Still. Empty. My phone buzzed back to life. 3:46 a.m. I was free. Or so I thought. The story I published went viral. People loved it, called it fiction, said I had a gift. The police reopened the cases. They found nothing. Life moved on. But every night, at 2:15 a.m., I wake up to the sound of breathing in my walls. My mirrors fog from the inside. My reflection lingers a second too long. Yesterday, I found a door in my apartment hallway that wasn't there before. No handle, just a nameplate, for you, and somewhere, far away, or maybe right behind me, Holloway House is still waiting. Because abandoned houses are never truly empty. They're just hungry.